Happy Saturday, guys. Welcome to another episode on another weekend. All the crew is here. We're enjoying this whole everyone in the same show. Huh? Usually it's like 1-on-1, 2-on-2, something like that. Yeah?
Yes.
All is good over there?
It's time to have a chill conversation.
It's what? It's ringing?
Chill
Who's ringing?
Your phone's ringing.
Just hang up.
Just hang up, yeah.
Yeah, just hang up.
It's another person who owes Ahmed money or Ahmed owes him money. You know?
I owe a lot of people money.
Huh?
Yeah. It's like a guy gambling debts, you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Just in case you guys wondering where he gets his Gucci's and Givenchy's.
His Balenciaga.
Yes.
Can we say thank you to the radio for
Oh.
at least, offering me a decent pay?
Put me on.
We're good? All right. You know what we got today, Lisa? Big shout outs to you, Lisa. Thank you for joining us on this episode.
Nickii Jean.
Who's Lisa? Oh!
Yeah.
I got
thought,
mixed
we were
up.
just having a
Oh.
conversation.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Nickii.
I was like, he's still talking to the girl.
I'm like,
It's okay. Nickii Jean, it's fine.
Nickii Jean.
Yeah.
All right. I do apologize for that. I'm mixed up. It's been a rough week. You know? How are
Actually,
you?
when you said Lisa, she was looking around. Like, is Lisa gonna answer? Like,
I was like, why isn't she responding? You know? But yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All the way from Pasadena.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Pasadena.
Yeah, I didn't even want to say LA. You know?
Thank you. I appreciate
You
that.
fellow Pasadenian.
Pasadena in the house.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Pasadena in the house. That could have been my last stop.
You want to tell us why?
Oh, I almost got killed in
Oh
Pasadena.
my
Oh,
gosh,
you know,
guys, no.
I got kidnapped by an Uber driver.
A fake Uber driver.
Yeah, an Uber driver who was fake. So the story is, I was in Pasadena
Okay.
attending the On the Run 2 Beyonce and Jay-Z concert.
Yeah.
It was a crazy
I'm
concert.
sorry.
later.
Have you noticed that everyone who gets kidnapped is always somehow related to Beyonce and Jay-Z?
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't Pasadena.
Is it something to do with them?
Just to be clear.
Yes, it was in Pasadena. It's a small city that people think it's part of LA.
Thank
Okay.
you.
But
Love you guys.
as someone who lived for 5 hours in Pasadena, so I have experienced that it's not part of LA, because you can get killed in LA, but in Pasadena they kidnap you first and then they kill you.
But you're alive to tell
Yeah.
the story. So.
Yeah, it's in the story. So I ended up in an Uber driver who was not actually an Uber driver, but I thought I was kidnapped because
Is
he
this
was.
somehow ruining the stocks for Uber? Like,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
No, really, is it?
Yes, it is. There is a lot of allegations of kidnap and abuse by Uber drivers, actually.
Oh.
And that gets you back. That's why in LA they have a feature of SOS.
Okay.
So like when you are on an Uber, I didn't find it here in Qatar. So once you feel that the Uber driver is not taking you to the
Yeah.
same place or he's being aggressive, you can press something that tracks the Uber driver,
Okay.
and also it becomes a tracking device even if your phone shuts down.
Okay.
Amazing.
So it's like a safety feature. Once you feel unsafe, you click that button, and then it will like call for help even if the Uber driver shuts down his phone and
Yeah.
to do things.
To be honest, that's a really good story. It started off as comedy, but guys, it's serious.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
It is. It's a serious thing. We need to point out that it's not okay for it to happen.
Yeah, I didn't know that they had that feature. That's pretty cool.
A lot of features I found in Uber. You know? A lot of things happen in that city actually.
Yeah.
Because you feel safe a lot in Qatar.
Yeah.
You just leave
Yeah,
your
safe,
apartment door open. When you're hungry at 12 a.m. in Qatar, it's just like you drive to the nearest McDonald's or something.
That's a blessing, man. That's really a
Oh.
blessing. That's when a lot of people tell me about moving to America. You're like, I don't know, man. I love leaving my door open. And
Yeah.
And leaving your wallet in the
Exactly.
cafe.
Yeah.
The other day I left a bag in Starbucks and I was meeting someone outside. And by the way, people don't think I'm Arab there, or like people think I'm from Greece.
you look Kurdistani.
Yeah, like this.
Like a random nationality all the way. Like
People think I'm from Dagestan.
Tajikistan.
Like,
something Stan at the end of it. You
Because-
know?
yeah, at that time there was the Khabib Conor McGregor fight,
Oh,
so
wow.
people thought I'm from
One of the
there.
crew, yeah?
one of the crew.
Oh my gosh.
So I left my travel bag in Starbucks and went outside to meet someone, and there were like people just
Yeah.
moving away from where I was sitting down. They are not used to someone who leaves his stuff
Yeah.
and goes out. And
Oh
and
my.
I went far away, by the way. Like,
Okay.
because I was on the phone, he told me like Starbucks. Then it was a cheap hotel, or the place where they make tacos.
Chipotle.
Chipotle or
Oh,
something.
this is in the States.
Yes.
That's such an Arab way to
that's
say it.
not okay.
No,
Chipotle.
Yeah.
because leaving your stuff is a totally different
Not
message.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes.
You know, by the way,
Like-
we need to document this moment. You just
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
Chipotle. You know?
Yeah, what was it called? It's
Chipotle.
Chipotle, yeah. It's,
You know?
you know.
I wasn't sure.
And you were,
Is that a restaurant?
and they were blaming me for saying podcast. You
Yeah.
said Chipotle.
You know, because when I'm searching on Google Maps, I'm
Yeah.
searching for tacos, and then it leads me to that restaurant. So,
Okay, well.
but it's great, by the way.
Yeah.
It's
One of
great.
my faves.
Yes, when you have, I used to have the bowl,
Yes.
and you just eat it.
Yes. And you just eat it.
Really? What do you expect to do with it?
Like you don't take pictures for Instagram. You know?
Yeah.
It's not that type of food. It's the type of food that خلاص you forget social
So what, if you
media.
take a picture, people are going to judge you and say you're broke?
No, it's not that type of food. You know,
Maybe.
it gets
Yeah.
you.
Really?
It's like
You get into the
McDonald's,
eating mood.
tacos.
But
Guys,
you know,
I'm so
Yeah.
curious to hear about Nickii Jean, to be honest.
yeah, we got
Like-
into that Pasadena moment, you know. So
Yeah.
from
Pasadena
LA,
does that.
from LA to Doha, it's
From
like that
Pasadena.
song by what's his name, designer. You know all the noise he makes. It's called LA to NY. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that the song though? That's
It's
the actual
it's
song?
like it's called from NY
I like
to
suck
LA.
with like the artists, and I have no idea. But,
Okay, but you're pretty, down with the artists. You know, I've seen a lot of pictures with you with Fat Joe, Don Benjamin.
Yeah.
Is Don Benjamin actually good looking as they claim?
Absolutely.
Really?
Like absolutely.
Dan Benjamin, the Instagram
The
guy.
light skinned guy
He
with
was
like
on
blue
America's
eyes.
Next Top Model.
What is he,
That's
Puerto
where he
Rican or something?
started. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Yeah?
Actually, I think he's like white and black, but I could be wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We need to do a little DNA test about it,
Yeah.
just to see if black people are actually anti-racist or not. Yeah, you're into a lot of talks about the modeling, colors, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Can
Yeah.
you tell us a little about it?
Well, I think for me, like I've been doing this on and off for over 10 years.
10
modeling.
years.
Yeah. I've never been able to like commit to it because of like school and just like other obligations.
Okay.
But I've always received the, we need that one token black girl. You're the girl.
Yeah.
Or you're not tall enough. Or we're not sure if you'll get booked because you're too dark. Or,
Really?
like,
They say that? They have the nerve to actually say that?
I've got that in different countries.
Good
Not,
Lord in
not in
heavens.
America to that extent, but I've definitely heard
No,
that.
by the way, it's not racist. By the way,
It is racist.
it is. It's not racist because I was into play, okay, acting, all right, and that's why you don't want to work hard on telling somebody who is this person when you are taking a picture or having a role for a movie. You don't want to work hard. That's why people like Jessica Alba didn't have a good career in Hollywood because it was hard to tell who is
explain
she.
her.
Yes,
Okay.
because there is a writer, guys, okay? And the writer writes, okay, there is a story about Elizabeth who's British. And she lived in, what's the city, Leeds?
Yeah, in the
Yeah,
north of the
Because I know your brother, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Leeds for the whole her life. So when I'm imagining Elizabeth,
It's not, it doesn't
yeah,
match.
I want a
Yeah.
white British person.
Yeah, with blue eyes
See.
and curly blonde
Yes.
I
hair.
get that in
Yeah.
that
Yes.
in that aspect, but
Yeah.
like what about print? Like how can you like really acknowledge that in print?
Print.
Like
Yes, it also happens in print. Now I want to make a marketing campaign for local people to get a loan. Are you gonna be on the cover?
but there are dark Arabic
No.
that look like me.
Is it
honestly.
the typical story? If I'm
That's
saying,
what- yeah,
come
yeah,
get a
yeah.
loan, I'm in London, come
Yes.
get a loan for your leads.
So it makes
Yeah,
sense. So
that's
it's
yeah.
I like devil's advocate on that
Mhm.
because you took racism versus practicality. It doesn't necessarily
Yes.
mean that people are being racist all
I
the
kind of
time.
find it racist. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Okay,
We
so
have
for
a
example-
marketing
I mean,
expert
of course
behind
I was
the camera.
offended.
I'd feel offended. I'd be like, what do you mean I'm too dark for this?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I mean, I think there could have been a better way to communicate that.
You should
with
have
me.
initiated like an earlier message, right? Like you put a sign on the door. We're looking for this type of skin color.
Because you see that in America.
Exactly.
When you look for castings online, there's a site called Model Mayhem, Craigslist, and things of that
Uh-huh.
nature. And it will say like, hey, we're only looking for Chinese or black or whatever the case.
You know what I was looking for? Remind me of this. Back in the day, I've watched this show, and it was talking about African American women in America, and the only women that actually became successful are the light skinned African American.
Interesting.
They're saying the dark ones, for example, such as Kelly Rowland,
Mhm.
is not like Beyonce. Because Beyonce is light skinned and she's more gorgeous, as they claim.
No, but
And the other dark ones
Beyonce
didn't
is
make it.
triple the talent as Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly is actually talented.
She
Come on.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read about the light skin, dark skin theory,
Okay.
but
Hit
give
us
me
up.
someone who's really talented who couldn't make it. I will tell you someone who's really talented and didn't make it. It was light skin. It was Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys.
For me, Alicia Keys is far more better singer than.
But she
Beyonce.
chose that. Like
Yes.
she chose.
Yeah, she wanted to
step
be a
back.
hipster or
She
something.
wanted to be a wife and mom.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she
She's
chose
not
that.
into that art.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't present herself as Beyonce.
Let's say that
somehow,
she
you know
can't
what
dance like Beyonce,
I mean? But
but
plays
she's
the
a
piano.
far more. She was a far more better singer.
You see her playing the piano, that's over for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
You know, that's a beautiful classical woman right there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know
we're
what I mean?
bringing the argument, guys. We are all
it is
for the black,
interesting.
No, but it's
the
true,
black power.
How many dark skinned actors have you seen that are actually famous? What's that guy in Blood Diamond? Everybody knows how he
Kevin
looks like,
Hart.
but nobody knows
Kevin
his name.
Hart, guys.
Okay.
خلاص, shut down the argument. We win.
No.
Kevin Hart?
Viola
Yes.
Davis. Okay, do you guys not know?
No.
How to Get Away with Murder?
What's his name? The guy Idris.
Idris Elba.
Yeah, خلاص, guys. خلاص.
I think because his
Racism
features,
died 100 years ago.
because his features don't look that African. By the
And
way.
he's really from London?
Ethiopia?
He's
Originally?
British. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
like
British by passport, by but like
No.
originally. Let's do origins here. Where's he from originally?
I-
Ethiopia,
No.
I think. Something
you
like
think so?
that. He looks East
No, no.
African though.
I think he looks like Arabish African more than. But he made it in Hollywood and he's
Like his
dark
name
skin.
would be Saleh or something.
Dark
Right?
skin. Yeah, come on, guys. Palestinian people made it in Hollywood. Yani. Why complain?
What?
Yeah.
One guy, DJ Khaled?
No.
Not even Hollywood in the music video. Who else?
No, we made it
Name
a
me
lot.
one guy. One
We-
Arab guy made it. In
We
Hollywood.
made it to the Oscars, guys.
One guy made
We
it.
made
to
it
Hollywood.
to Canis. We took a lot of things. Canis.
Canes.
Canis.
Canes.
Canes.
Yeah.
What is it?
We need to have like a
Yeah.
vocabulary.
We need a vocabulary.
a vocabulary set up.
Sorry,
We
sorry.
got-
I was saying the
what?
the
There's
Spanish,
no way out of
the
it.
Spanish,
There's no way out of it.
the
Trans-
Spanish name
Go
of the
ahead.
city.
There's
guys.
no way out of it.
There's
It's
a
all right.
Spanish name.
Nickii Jean, I want to hear about you. I want to know what you do because I always say like I'm not the expert. None of us are the experts here, but you're the expert of your own life. So what do we need to know about
That's
Nickii
deep.
Jean?
Well, I've been here 2 years. I'm from Pasadena, California. My day job, I'm actually a behavior therapist. Like I specialize in autism, so
Okay.
an applied behavior analysis therapist.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no one ever knows, but
But now they do.
now they do.
And they won't assume that, right? Because
No,
they'd be like, okay, she's very cool. She's like into music, into that. You would know.
I think people don't even think I have a job. Honestly, I mean, and it's not something that I show. I do keep it separate,
Yeah.
but that's like I love that just as much as I love modeling.
Because
So,
you don't present yourself that way, the way you dress, the way you act. You know what I mean?
So you take care of children who have autism.
I wouldn't say take care of. I create interventions for the children to better their behavior. We create assessments, and it just depends on the situation. You know, we can go from low functioning to high functioning, and yeah, we help.
Yeah,
do
you
that
have to
too.
explain what low function and
Yeah.
high functioning mean. You know?
Low
Yeah.
functioning, nonverbal, not being able to
Express
themselves, not being able to
So it's like training or,
find. I guess you could say
or
training.
education.
Basically, we're like modifying the way that we teach them to help them adapt to this life that we have here. I think if it was the other way around, then we would be, we would have therapists or whatever the case is. But yeah, basically, I help them adapt to the world that we live here.
It's very strange because I usually see kids who have autism. I've never seen adults who have autism.
You don't see it here.
Yeah.
That's funny that you say that. I don't know what happens. But, like, I know in the States, like, we have, like, homes for adults and stuff like that. But that is a great question. I don't know what happens here with,
Well, it's World
Like,
Autism Day coming up soon.
yes,
Right.
April.
I thought it was second.
You're so good with these dates, Lily. You like memorize every
I'm
date on the
trying.
calendar. She's always
Like
on the
world,
group. Saying
I know that
World
April
Autism
is the
Day.
month for
I think
autism.
Paint It Blue, something
Yeah.
like December 2.
April.
2?
April 2.
Paint
Alright.
It Blue. Okay, I got half of it right.
It's
Paint
okay.
It Blue. Paint It Blue. April 2.
Yeah.
And what shifted you towards that interest? Why autism?
I thought I wanted to be a teacher in college, and
Okay.
my mom actually, my godparents in the States had a home for adults, mentally disabled adults.
Okay.
And so that is our background as far as like my family. Like my brother is a doctor and he specializes in autism too, basically. I've just always loved it. And like I said, I thought I wanted to be a teacher. I taught for 1 year and
University?
I was like, no, kindergarten. I'm like,
Kindergarten,
yeah,
yeah.
this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Like typical, I just can't take the talk back and like just the unsupportive.
You can't be
school
on time
district.
or
Yeah.
No, I'd rather just work with
Kids.
a kid that that really needs me and appreciates me versus like a typical kid, like I don't care, da 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 da. Especially in the States, like kids just talk back and stuff like that. So, yeah.
And living there, like, because I see a lot of videos of when kids with autism freak out and start screaming and holding things.
They're just having
And
a
you-
meltdown.
Yeah.
So
having a
you
meltdown.
you call it a meltdown?
Absolutely, it is a meltdown.
Is it similar to an anxiety attack? Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Something can trigger it. It could be a sensory need. There are 4 reasons why a child starts to have a meltdown or whatever the case is. It's sensory. They're trying to escape a situation. They need attention, or they're trying to like have something tangible.
Yeah.
So that's usually how we try to figure out like why is this behavior happening. Then from there we kind of create the interventions to help them adjust to those situations. So
Okay.
we'll purposely put them into that same scenario to help them get through it. So
Okay.
eventually they know, okay, it's just this. If I want this cup, I just need to verbally ask for
Ask
it,
for
or
it,
whatever
yeah.
the case may be.
Or ask for support.
Yeah.
And what would people like us who, like, let's say we were in a situation like in the movies or something, and we didn't know that some kid has autism. What is the most appropriate way for us to respond?
To let the parents like
Deal with it. And
it.
not to judge or to shame.
No, yeah.
Exactly.
And for me now, like every time that I'm out and I see a child, especially like on the airplane, like I know you guys know what it feels like to be on the airplane, and
Yes.
kids screaming or whatever the case is. I'm like, that I just can tell. I can pick up on the behaviors immediately, and I know.
So what are
I
the
will.
symptoms though of the behavior? Like what?
The symptoms, I mean, like he said,
Try to push the wire inside.
hand
the
flapping, fidgeting, not being able to make eye contact, not being able to communicate, escaping the situation, running away from the situation,
Stronger.
just,
Okay.
for the most part.
Is there reasons that autism can occur? Is it like
We haven't figured out.
yeah?
Honestly, we've just created a theory on how to address it, and that's where applied behavior analysis comes in. But
Okay.
we don't know what it is. Of course, people have rumors, especially in the States. Oh, what's it called when you get
Immunization.
Yes. Because I had a client in the States a long time ago. One child, they came from, I want to say like the Philippines. One child didn't get the shots that they were supposed
And the
to
other
get.
one did.
And the other one did.
And turned out autistic. Okay.
And so they're just convinced.
Yeah.
And I mean, as a parent, like, I probably would be convinced too, Like,
Okay.
even as a therapist, I always question, like, what is the cause? We don't know.
Not related to DNAs or
That's,
genetics.
we just don't know. Like, no one has an
Pregnant
answer.
women smoking or
No one has an
Okay.
answer, honestly. Like, I mean, we can come up with things,
There are loads of factors that people so-called blame it on.
and
Yeah.
they blame it on based on their actual situation
Yeah, or
versus,
their-
like, a
yeah.
worldwide type
Yeah.
of situation. So,
So how many years you've been in the field?
over 10 years, like, I started as a freshman in college, and I don't even know how I got the job, honestly, because I wasn't qualified. But,
Trust me, I don't know how I got my
you
job.
know how you get the job? You're like, all right, well, guess today I'm going to be a therapist. So
Yes.
that's kind of how it worked
Yeah,
out.
that's how it happens. No, I think I chose electrical engineering because I was into electrical guitars. So it's like when you link it, that's how you link it. Oh, electrical engineering,
And
that's how,
right.
and that's how you have a podcast now.
Yeah.
You know what?
Nice.
You know what? My family came to me and they're like, "You need to tell your brother to go and study electric engineering." And then I remembered you, and I told them absolutely not. I'm not lying to you. Just to
True
say,
story.
I don't want you to feel bad about your
Yeah,
job or anything.
No, just for the audience
Yeah.
who think electrical engineering is electrical. Why I recommend electrical engineering? Because look at the spectrum, guys. You study politics.
Yeah.
And you only work with politics, okay? But when you study electrical engineering, you work from the lights to SpaceX. You see the spectrum of working with maybe light, changing lights in the streets, and you can work at the space
And you
station.
can charge your phone at an electrical box in the middle of Pasadena.
Yes, that
Before
was
getting
part of
kidnapped,
this.
yeah?
Yeah.
I'd like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the middle of the nowhere, I found 2 girls who have their phones dead. So by chance they had a charger, but they had
The portable one?
the brick charger.
Oh.
No, not the brick charger. So I found a generator on the street, and I started it,
Wow.
and there is an outlet where they can hook up their phones and charge it. So
You
So I
better,
was like a superhero. I felt like I'm in the Hunger Games and
Absolutely.
survival techniques and stuff.
you better be thankful America didn't kidnap you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They were like this smart Kyrgyzstani
Yeah.
that could somehow work on wires.
Yeah, and these two girls will never see me again because I left with a guy and they don't know if I'm dead or alive. Because
Yeah.
I saw the look at their face when a stranger came and he said, "Oh, you want to hop in my Uber?"
And you were like, yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, man, okay, I just helped two strangers and now a stranger will help me." That's how karma works, yeah.
Well, it worked out in your favor.
Yeah, it works out, so...
Yeah. By the way,
Yeah.
Shaheen doesn't believe in karma.
I do not believe in karma. Don't even look at me at it. You know?
Yeah, because you were doing all the good in your
Energy?
life and still no returns, huh?
Same, no?
Nope.
No?
Nope,
Okay.
not at all.
So,
But let me ask you something. How did you switch from? Because I was thinking yesterday how my interest is just everywhere, from fashion to writing to politics to economy to blah blah blah. How did you manage to, like, to go from like music to modeling to like celebrity host to like therapy, autism?
Yeah.
You're just everywhere.
I know, okay.
You're like a Starbucks.
I'm
You're just
sure the
in every-
modeling started, someone told you, "Oh, you should be a model, we have a campaign."
To be honest,
Yeah.
that's what I thought life would be
Yeah.
like. Like, I would be walking down the street and they're like, "Yo, you're the one. We're going to
Oh.
change your life." No, that definitely didn't happen that
Yeah.
way. But growing up, I was like a tomboy.
Okay.
And so growing up, everyone would be like, "Oh, you should be, you're a model. You're so pretty." I'm like, "What?" I have like basketball shorts on. Like, are you sure?
You'd look really nice in American Eagle pants and like nice little,
They
you know,
won't
campaign.
hire me. Tell them to hire me.
Really?
But like, yeah. So I was always told that, but I grew up in a very strict household. Like
No outs.
religion, school, and that's it. Like church Sunday through Sunday.
Okay.
But like my freshman or sophomore year in college, my mom was diagnosed with vaginal cancer,
Oh,
and
sorry to hear that.
it's life. I'm telling you, it led up to all this.
Oh,
To
yeah.
be honest, and the last conversation that we had prior to her going into a coma. First of all, talking about modeling, that was not even an option. Don't bring it up. You're
Right.
going to school and you're going to be a doctor.
It's
or
not
whatever
even
the
looked at
case.
as a job, right?
It's not.
Yeah,
It's not.
yeah.
So I did tell her, like, okay, when I finally came to like the realization, like, okay, she's going to pass away. Because before you're like, no, she's just sick. It's fine. No, I had to really talk to myself and say,
Yeah.
she's not going to be here anymore, so you need to get everything off your chest. So I told her,
Right.
like, yo, I want to model. I'm going to graduate. I promise I'll graduate, but I want to model. So she said, don't let the way I raise you dictate your future.
Okay.
If you're going to do it, make sure you keep God first.
That's
And
beautiful.
literally, I was like, are you serious? Like, say it again.
Yeah.
And my mom, after she passed away, the week after the funeral, I had my first, like, photo shoot. Of course, it was just for trade. I just needed to, build my portfolio.
Right.
But that was the beginning. And I didn't go into it like, I thought I was going into it to create a career. I mean, yes, there is a career out of it, but it really became therapy for me. Like,
Okay.
you know
I was
how
just about to ask you, what were your emotions like right at that moment, that week after?
I literally just blocked it out, and I was like,
Okay.
I'm doing this for my mom. And I would rather choose that versus drugs or whatever the
Right.
case. People choose different outlets, and that
Like
chose
coping
me.
mechanism.
Yeah, that was, yes. So even like now, I don't mind working for free. Don't quote that. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes if I've gone too long, I do need it. It's like medicine for me. So
So it's something that you love. We always ask that question in coaching, like, what is your passion? And when people say, how do I answer that question? It's usually the thing that you get tired and exhausted doing but love it,
yeah.
and the thing that you would do without being paid for
Yeah.
it happily.
Yeah.
So would you say that in this case, modeling is your passion or one of them?
I would say not necessarily modeling because, as you said, I do a lot. I
Yeah.
think just being able to be creative. Like,
Okay, so
I
creativity is your
creativity,
passion, regardless of if it ticks.
Hey, I have a lot of questions
Okay.
because you said creative.
Yeah.
And the other day I was telling Ahmed maybe we should learn how to pose. Because,
Okay.
if you see all of our Instagram, we are like this.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
also because of
Is there someone who good at posing than others? Because I know maybe modeling is not about how God made you. There is something. you
Yeah,
know?
it's about knowing your angles, knowing
Mhm.
your lighting, knowing your body. Yeah.
Isn't that the photographer's job?
No.
Really?
The photographer needs to capture that. You
Uh-huh.
have to. You're
You have
the
to be
talent.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything that we wouldn't know as laymen or so-called amateurs? What's the 101 of modeling? Like, what can we learn from you?
Lighting. I didn't know about lighting. I thought the same. Like, I'm just gonna stand there. And I'm beautiful. That's all I know. You need to create angles, shapes with your body. Like you can't just stand there. You have to create.
I think I had the same
Picture.
pose since I was 9 years old.
I believe you.
It's like the passport picture pose.
Yeah, that's
Passport
like-
picture.
And every time it gets worse and worse, you know what I mean? But I kind of like this side of my face.
Well, at least you know
Yeah.
what side's your good side. That's the beginning.
Yeah, I feel
So
like
it's a standard
thing.
thing, you know,
Good
having
side.
a good side. I thought it's a superstitious thing, you know.
No,
People,
No, I think you know what side you like better.
What's your sign?
I like both of my sides, you know.
That's
Oh.
different.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good.
Even if you have the camera from up, I like it. Yeah.
to be honest, I think you kind of look the same.
Wallah, yeah, I think symmetry. They call symmetry. It's
Symmetry.
yeah. If you are 100% symmetrical, you are rare.
That's a talent in itself.
Mm.
No, really, it's not like. Like, he's the only person in the world that I met who's like that. I'm not like.
Yeah, and I look the same from both sides.
Really,
Is
you
it,
are? No
No,
shit.
I think I have an eye who's like this all the time.
Oh, homie,
I
trust
have
me.
the DJ Khaled eye,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
But
because we are related, me and DJ Khaled.
Oh.
Yeah.
show them the T-shirt. He got it from where?
Yeah.
LA. He was in
Bless
LA.
up,
Bless
yeah.
up. Of
Bless
course, you got that from LA.
I bought it from the bench, like 2 meters away from DJ Khaled before you meet him. So
Yeah.
you get in the the area where you meet DJ Khaled. You buy a T-shirt.
Yeah.
You get a picture, and then you meet him, and you get an autograph.
I can't.
And, you
get
know,
it. When
Marketing.
He, when he
Yeah.
videoed it, it was like I was like, document to me LA for me. I just want to see how people are living in LA. And there was like a lineup of people, and he told DJ Khaled in the middle, he's like, I'm from Palestine. And DJ Khaled just started screaming, Basra, who's that? And I was like, why is he screaming like that? You know what I mean? Yeah, go Bashaki. And I was like, whoa. You know what I
They
mean?
have
It's
a
a-
moment. They have
It's
a
a
moment.
persona, you know. It's a
Yeah.
stage persona. He's
Yeah.
always in character, by the way.
Yeah, true.
And I chased him 3 days. I went to the Jay-Z Beyonce concert. The second day I went to the shoe, his new Jordan's launch.
Yeah.
The third day he was hosting at the Democratic Party fundraising party. So
Okay.
he was with Jimmy Kimmel. So I chased him for 3 days, and it was the ultimate DJ Khaled experience, guys.
Yeah.
And I have his T-shirt.
I feel like DJ Khaled should be somehow an American idol somehow. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think he is,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, he's made a name for himself.
What's that movie for Tom Hanks where he run around the country? What's his name? Forrest Gump.
Oh,
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that?
yes, of course.
That's how I
Run,
related to.
Janae. I love you, Janae.
I've seen it.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
right.
that's a big hit.
Run, Forrest.
Yes,
run.
yes,
Yeah,
I'm like
remember that
Janae. Life is
Then
like
he
a box of
starts running.
chocolates.
Yeah. Then he runs from coast to coast.
one? I feel like somehow DJ Khaled does the same thing. Like he runs around America just saying, "We the best."
Yes,
we the
do you
best.
see
you know?
his Snapchat?
It's weird,
Oh
right?
my gosh, it's
Yeah, guys, it's hard. And now I will just going back to the first point we talked about. Like
Yeah.
dark-skinned people don't make it in
really
fashion. Do Arab people make it in hip hop?
They're very bad.
That's why DJ Khaled is a legend. صح؟
Look, to
صح؟
be honest, I think the issue with Arab rappers is that they're always angry.
You think
The
so?
Arab rappers?
I don't
No,
know.
They're
no,
really always
no.
angry.
The Arab rappers who rap in Arabic,
Yeah,
they are
very-
never angry.
I think it
They're very
sounds
angry.
like it
No.
because for me
Because
too.
Arabic sounds
yes,
angry like
yes,
Arabic.
yes.
It's like listening to NWA to 2018. You know what I mean? I'm like, nobody really wants to listen
Yeah,
to
yeah,
NWA 2018.
That's the thing. Yeah, talking about music, and you will agree with me. Experimental music,
Okay.
experimental music. When you make a fusion between Chinese and European and rock and roll, it never goes to mainstream.
Of course,
And there is a fleet of Arabic rappers.
Like Bengali trance,
Yeah.
trap.
Yeah, where you sent me that
It's
day.
like this, yeah.
Just Bengali trap.
yeah.
If you didn't know.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, the experimental music, no matter how popular gets in the underground, it will never go mainstream.
Mainstream.
It will never find a guy in a suit who will invest in it. And that's the bad news I'm telling to local rappers. There is people who are great talent, by the way,
Yeah.
who are great at making beats, and they are great poets. I'm telling them, you are not a great rapper, you're a great poet.
Okay.
Now you can make something else other than rap. I met a lot of talented people. You're a great poet, man. That's why experimental music never makes it. That's why you will never like Arabic rap. You know, there's people who try to make Arabic rock and roll.
How did that sound?
Can't even
It sounded horrible.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a kind of person who played rock and roll guitar for like more than 10 years. I never ever tried to write an Arabic song. I never ever tried to play rock and roll on an Arabic scale.
Yeah, that would
You know?
that would sound different.
Because experimental music is meant for you to play in a garage and maybe in a cafe for your friends where people think you're a genius, but it will never
Yeah.
go somewhere.
But what do we all think about that? Things that don't go anywhere. What's wrong with being the underdog? I
Uh,
like being the underdog.
I mean, that's literally my modeling career.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially
Yes.
moving here.
you know,
Okay.
experimental modeling, it happens, it's like a fling.
And then it
And
goes away.
and then it
The-
goes
the-
away.
The trend dies,
Yes.
right? Okay. So what's your experience with that, being the underdog of modeling? If that makes
I just don't give up. Like, yeah, I hear you. Oh, because I've been told, oh, you're too short, you're too dark, whatever. Oh, no, sorry, you're just not
what we're looking for.
not what we're looking
Show,
for.
how short?
I mean,
You're like
runway,
5'11", right?
You're like my height.
wish, I
Yeah.
wish. I'm
You're
like
like maybe
5'7",
5'8",
on a
5'7".
good
Yeah.
day.
Oh, you okay?
I'm
On a
5'11".
good day.
Yeah.
But I'm
Right.
not tall enough for
Mm.
runway. I mean, they've created what they want it to look like on the runway. And I'm not height-wise what they want it to look like. And so I was told that even in the States. And then something changed in the industry where they were open to more short models. And I think it was America's Next Top Model when they opened it up to 5'7" and below.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, everyone just started to hop on board. And so we had fashion shows for short people, urban models. Like, it was a big thing. And that's when I was able to, like,
So that's
really
what it's
get
called,
it in.
urban model. So if you don't hit the mark of 6'1",
Yeah.
then you are an urban model.
Yeah.
Is that what you?
I would say for the most part. I mean, of
Okay.
course, there are high fashion designs, but they specifically make it for tall women.
Then I'm really curious about how it goes down in Doha, because how do you become a model in Doha? Can you just be a pretty face, or do you actually have to hit? I'm curious. What criteria must be met in
Yeah.
Qatar?
You know, gonna say these words wisely.
Yeah, okay,
I'm
we're
gonna
waiting.
choose.
We're ready for it.
I've been here for 2 years. When I first came, I did attempt to be signed by different agencies and different people when were interested.
Did you come as a model or like as just
As a-
your work and then you started modeling on the side?
I don't know. When I first got the job, I started, like, I'm that type of person where I'm like, okay, I'm moving. I need to still be able to live my life
Yeah.
here. So I was looking through hashtags on Instagram, trying to find
Modeling in Qatar,
photographers.
okay.
Yeah, models, Doha models, Qatar models. And I would start to follow those people and try to create that network. Hey, I'm moving here in a few months. If you're interested just to work, let's work. No
Yeah.
one responded. No one, like...
Yeah,
And
people
I
don't
know
get
my
job by
work-
DMing on Instagram, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You don't?
You do actually, because now that's how I get a lot of my work, because I'm not represented.
Why do you think people didn't respond?
Because
Because she was DMing on Instagram.
no, that is not it. I'm telling you,
Because
that's
you
not
were
it.
black, right?
Maybe that could be it. Or what I've learned here too is being here for 2 years, they have their models already. They're the top models. They're the top influencers. And unlike the States, like, everyone still gets an opportunity. If you're
Right.
good, you're good, and they
Okay.
want to work with you.
You know,
But it's
just
set
to relate
here.
to that, I really feel like the Arab world in general, they have something called the post-colonial syndrome, which is the Khawaja syndrome. They're still very obsessed with blonde, blue eyes.
Absolutely.
In every industry, whether in magazine, whether in corporations, whether in representation,
Promos.
anything. I get messages on my phone that says good morning with like blonde, blue kids from very dark skinned
Yes,
people.
it's true. It's true. And I will give you my insight on it.
I'm just saying,
Oh.
my assumption that if you were a blonde chick with blue eyes sending these DMs, I promise you that you would get a lot
Absolutely.
No.
of response.
I
I
No.
promise you.
Disagree.
This is the reality. This is the reality.
Disagree.
Let's just accept it as it is.
Disagree.
There's
Elizabeth,
something.
any support?
I'm
Oh. You're just
marinating.
fascinated by
Just from my experience,
Um,
I can agree with you.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was that, and the fact that they already have their, like, no one's open to change.
Right.
It's the same.
They don't want to admit it.
models.
They're in denial
Same models, same
constantly.
influencers, like. They're more
Really?
people. I
Really?
think so.
Really?
I've been here 2 years. I'm into this. I'm into
My
it.
first reply is that no one gets the job here by DMing on Instagram.
Look at
It's
the
about
Arab
who
world.
you-
I did DM people in LA and they responded and we met and it was nice and but maybe the culture is not like this here.
That's the only
It's-
way that people contact me. That's the
Yes.
only way they. My Instagram is a business Instagram.
Yeah.
You email me or you DM me or you can. My number is attached
True.
for business purposes. I am not represented like that,
Yes.
you know. So yes, I represent myself. So if you want to contact me, you contact
What
me
are the
directly.
pros?
you-
What are the pros of
what's
representing
the pros?
yourself?
The pros being able
You get
to
the full
negotiate,
paycheck, huh?
the full paycheck, being able to negotiate, and not needing a middleman. Like, I think that, of course, I know, like, if you have that middleman person, you're like, oh, I'm someone big, but I'm just as big as that person, and I'm going to handle this myself. So,
And we've been seeing you around for a while, actually. So being represented by yourself is it really works here in Qatar.
Yeah, I really can't commit to an agency to that extent because I work full time still. So I can't.
Look, but if you also look at the shape in the Arab world in general, we're new to a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? You're not going to compare us to the West or like to America. Like you guys, it's the center of art. It's the center of music. It's the center of the movie industry. You know what I mean? So things like this are actually very popular. But here we're still, like most of the region is still suffering from, political, economical chaos. So there's not a lot of room for art and talent to grow.
Yes.
I believe that art and talent, in order for it to be prosper, it needs a proper political and economical stability. You know what I mean?
Yes, the art centers in the Middle East are Cairo, Beirut, Damascus, Baghdad back in the 70s, and Morocco.
True.
And maybe Tunisia. Those are the art centers. The cultural centers, you can add Kuwait.
True.
Okay? But this is when you talk about poetry, movies,
but what era
literature. But when you talk about fashion, I think there is maybe few fashion houses in Beirut, maybe in Cairo. There is a lot of attempts to, like, there is a fashion capital. There is difference between a fashion capital and maybe having a fashion house somewhere but down the street.
Or just the people are fashionable because the culture is more different than other cultures in the region. You know what I mean? Like, as Lebanon was considered.
It's a fashion capital of the Middle East, by the way.
Yeah, it's somehow it's the cultural. It's the way.
And there is black models who make it there. Very big.
It's the way. It's the way people developed was kind of different than other people in the region. Somehow, because they're exposed to European colonialism, somehow exposed to different cultures. The way that the society developed is just different. It has its own privacy. So they're a bit ahead of other people. You know what I mean? It's also, if you look at feminism and as a leading kind of like ideological form.
Let's not start talking about feminism.
I'm just saying it aroused in Kuwait and Egypt and Sudan specifically.
Yes.
One of the first countries in the region. The others didn't even know
culture.
For a while.
Culture was.
So it also goes back to how the country itself develops, the people,
and also reflecting those concepts on sectors like fashion, education, politics, rights. Sometimes an idea pops up in the society, but it doesn't reflect.
True.
Right? You see it in the movie, you see it somewhere, but you don't see it on the street.
True.
You don't see it in the books, in the magazines. And then where there's people who, maybe like Nickii Jean, who work hard to reflect it on the fashion.
You were dropping all those city names, and then immediately that image of Sex in the City in Abu Dhabi came to my mind. So what about Abu Dhabi, Dubai?
It's not.
We're talking about Sex in the City. They talk about fashion all the time.
Yeah, that's not my my classification of categorizing Dubai or Abu Dhabi as a cultural pedigree. Because how many poets came out of Abu Dhabi?
Right.
Yeah, it's an industrial place. It's an entertainment city, Abu Dhabi or Dubai. It's maybe a production city, but it's not where a lot of poets who came out of Kuwait, people were like immigrating from all parts of the Middle East. Like Nizar Qabbani, he went to Kuwait to publish. Like people were going to Beirut to sing or to make movies, to Cairo, to Morocco. So those are like, maybe Dubai and Abu Dhabi are modern. And I like what they're doing, actually, because they are bringing people from a lot of part of the Middle East and they are making something special.
Yeah.
And I think they will have a version of Friends. Did you guys hear about this? Yes, there is a Middle Eastern version of Friends that will happen, take place in Dubai.
Interesting.
So we will see how much this type of humor will make it. But
I wonder. It's different. And what do you think the future of fashion is and modeling for someone like you here in Doha?
I'd say, like, I'm hoping that I can start a trend here where it is more open and they are more receptive to not just we need one token black girl, but like.
What do you mean by token?
I get that
token.
all the time.
Token black
when
girl.
you're in a show,
like a typical, that does mean
no, you
typical.
just need one.
One.
Like to represent this.
You just want one race, one black girl.
Oh wow! So you're just
I'm
because
always the token black girl. Like even in this, like when you get these big campaigns, they want to represent diversity.
Oh yes.
Okay.
So I get that, but you don't really hear the token Filipino, the token Hispanic. You hear the token black girl for whatever reason. So I'm hoping to
change
that. And like, I'm not just a model, and that's what I want people to understand. Like, yes, I love taking pictures. Like I said, it's more therapy, but I really think that I'm the next Oprah, and I'm not even kidding. Oprah's already taken, so I'm Nickii Jean, but I am here obviously I'm here for a reason. Like, God brought me here for a reason. And so I want to showcase the whole Nickii Jean, Oprah aspect. Like, I just relaunched my nonprofit here. And so, which is another touchy subject because we focus on gynecological cancer. So that's vaginal, cervical.
Right, and people don't like to
ovarian.
talk about it.
You can't even say the word vagina. So,
No,
like,
there was people in the mall the other day who was
Sorry,
saying
just to
the
double
word.
check. We got 30 minutes on the camera, or you already started? Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna add something substantial to the discussion.
well, time is good.
I was
Time
like,
is
you're gonna
good.
talk about a great thing, and then
If I did
it's
not
like,
check, you would not even have a platform to say that. You know what I mean?
Okay, back. No, I think the other day they were in Festival City talking about several type of cancers. And,
I know right now it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah.
So, and that's amazing, and I like that people are bringing awareness to cancer in general. But my job that I would like to create is that there is more than just breast cancer. There are other cancers that people are affected by, and I want to bring that awareness. So next year in September,
But this
you'll
good.
see
Sometimes
Teal.
they do awareness about colon cancer. I think they do.
And those are popular cancers.
Cancers.
where-
how many people are affected by this type, so that it needs a special focus?
For vaginal cancer?
Yes.
So
Is it a high number? Yeah?
No. So, okay, my mom passed away from vaginal cancer, so that's where this all came about.
Yes.
So gynecological cancers, it's vaginal, ovarian, cervical, and vulvar.
Okay.
Out of those 4 cancers, vaginal is 4%. Like, it's a very rare disease.
Kind of cancer, yeah.
Cervical and ovarian is definitely more
So you want
popular.
to spread awareness so that people help detect it earlier, or
As far as statistics, you really can't detect it. Or it's like one of those diseases where you don't even know until it's like
already on its way.
Like when I found out, my mom third stage. But there are things that we can do just to be proactive, getting
that
pap
educate
smears,
people.
and that's what I want to do. So if I can get my foot in the door by just being a model, guess what? This model has something else to say, and so that's where I'm going with my career here.
And what would you say to people out there who just have a one-track mind with regards to, oh, she's a model, she can't possibly be a behavioral therapist?
Oh, I get that all the time, but check my resume.
no, she's a behavioral therapist who can be a model, right?
I can do it all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's being done.
And I think it needs to be said more often because people just see the superficial side and they don't think that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I
So
get
I think
that.
it needs to be said.
Oh, you're stuck up, you're this. And it's like you're judging me based off of a picture. You've never had a conversation with me. So when people talk to me, I literally get, oh my God, you're so cool. Really?
Really? Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the purpose of modeling, having like a poker face all the time.
I mean, but that's
Like,
the job.
Yes,
Like,
that's the job. So that
but there are still
when I
personalities.
see your picture, and not on the Instagram, the ones that is printed, like I don't get the sense of personality because
Exactly.
But when I see your Instagram, like I can pick it up with the angles, with what you're doing. Yes, it's look.
It's very hard for me to do
Yes.
that. Like every time I look at people, I'm like, are they funny? They look kind of stiff.
And
No,
that's
that's-
why I
no,
run my Instagram the way I run it, as far as like the Instagram story. I try to show my personality because that's how you get
Yes,
booked
on
too.
Instagram you can sense personality,
Yeah.
but
I
on
can't,
printed
man.
media,
Listen,
no.
I don't believe that.
No,
People
come
are very judgmental. They look at my pictures, they be like, you know what? You look like a very rude person.
Yeah, because we don't know how to pose, but people who know how to pose, maybe they can
But
reflect
then we get
personality.
the, oh, you're stuck up, or you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
you're better than, no.
You look materialistic. All you care about is money.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you go to my page and if you follow me, you will see my Instagram stories. Like, first of all, I can't even do the fakeness. Like, it is what it is. I don't have time for that. You see, I do a lot already. There's no way that I can portray this fake
the whole
I
girl
think it's a dark
personality
skin
came out,
thing.
yeah.
Is it?
Really?
Oh my What?
Most of the dark skins in my family, they're real as hell. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my god, you think so?
I'm serious.
Really?
It comes with it.
Okay, that's
I
different.
believe it.
All right.
And I can say that because I'm technically.
Technically.
Yeah,
All right.
technically. You know what I mean? So when I get a good
That's a
tan,
lot.
very
Yeah,
good.
the dark skinned people in my family also
They're
they
very
have
real.
the same thing.
I'm
yeah.
telling you,
You
they're
think
very
so?
real.
That's,
Yeah.
I've never heard
I don't
that
know,
one.
man. It's a black people thing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really, it's really, it's just telling
I don't
you.
know, just like
If you don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah. I just
You know, the
can't.
blonde side of my family are I don't know what's wrong with them.
Very between the lines. You don't
Yeah,
know if they
they're not-
like you or not.
Yeah,
Hi,
like-
how are you? It's good to
Yeah.
see you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Actually,
there is something in the Middle East like as blonde as you get.
You lack assertiveness if you're like blonde and blue eyes.
No, we don't have it. It's a black people thing, you know, like to judge personality based on skin color, you know.
Oh.
Let's do a reverse racism right now.
psychology,
Yeah,
yeah.
reverse
Psychology.
racism right now. Because the other day I was
I think everybody's blaming
I was-
colonialism on you,
yeah.
Elizabeth. You know what
I was at
I mean? Everybody's looking at you with the arrows in the
Yeah.
back. You know, the Egyptians in the back. Everybody's just looking
Yeah.
at you. You know?
It's okay.
No, no.
I love you.
When I was in Los Angeles last time, I was in an event like it's a social event. Okay, it
Yeah.
was a game night where people like play those kind of games, you know, where you put your hand on,
Oh, Twister.
yeah, Twister and things. And there was
I
a
had no
guy
idea.
who,
Thank
yeah, I was at, it's like a small event. I get invited.
Yeah.
So a guy asked a girl like, "Oh, so where are you from?"
Yeah.
So because it's LA, people usually move in from all around the
Yeah.
US, and she said, "Well, originally I'm black."
Ooh.
And this is where Ahmed comes in, you know. I was like, since when black is an origin, you know?
True.
Yeah.
Yes, like people, why you guys, you know, why skin color? There
Yeah.
is why skin color is. Did you really find barriers because of your skin color? Because you know when
It's
we
an
go,
identity though. It's
you know,
an
when I
identity.
go to the airport and I
Yeah.
get searched, I feel like because I'm Arab because of my beard. Okay, that's
Really?
superstitious.
No, it's
Yes.
real. It is. There's no way around it. It's because you're Arab. Haven't you heard that joke by Dave Chappelle? He just wanted to thank all the Arabs for becoming the
Yeah.
Rachel Hotzi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gave black people a reason.
Yes, I know there's a lot of people who translating because he's Arab. Why Muhammad Salah didn't take the biggest the best player of the year? Because he's Arab, he has a beard. He
True,
represents-
because he's Arab. I mean,
no, he didn't score enough goals.
not really.
He's not.
Guys, I think it has a lot to do with projection.
Yes.
Because I have a lot of people in the UK are like,
Yeah.
how dare you wear hijab in your country because you're just going to get picked on. I'm like, I've never been picked on in my life. I've never
Yeah,
been
and then
bullied.
when someone picked on, did you say that?
They will say, oh, it's because she wore it, brave girl. Oh, she's going to take it off now, poor thing. Okay, it's for me, it's not related because I've never ever, alhamdulillah, I've never been bullied. It has something to do with projection. If you're confident in your own skin, whether you wear it, you don't wear it, you're this color, you're that color.
But you get stares.
I think
get
experience.
You
I
don't
think
get stares?
Yes.
Really? If you walk around London or something like that?
Never.
I think London is because more.
Trust me, man. Once you move on from the Pacific Oceans
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the White Ocean, you don't get stares at all. Stares is the Middle Eastern thing. You
Yes,
know?
by the way, I get stared at more here
Yeah.
and questioned.
Yes. Yes.
More here, like, where are you from? Where are you really from?
Yeah. Why you talk English all the
Yeah,
time? Can't you speak
what's with
Arabic?
that? Yeah, why
Yeah.
are you?
Because you kind of look Syrian, to be honest.
Like there you go. I get that.
Yeah.
Syrian, Jadawiya,
Jadawiya, really?
Lebanese, like you get all of the.
Yeah, I think the
stereotypes.
Jadawiya thing from the Abaya style.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
think the Abaya style is Jadawiya.
But not to cut you off, you were saying about that story. Really,
Yeah, so I was like, you know, when I come into conversations and I'm instantly the bad person,
Yeah.
like, since when black is a nationality?
Okay.
And she really couldn't reply. I was like, by the way. And she said, no, I'm African American. I told her,
But then,
there is nothing African in you, I see.
Yeah.
Just the same as you, Nickii. I don't see any African in you.
So what do you say?
Because I know a lot of African people. Look
It's
at
like
Ahmed.
it's like true. African Americans
Yeah.
are actually different than Africans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mindset wise, attire wise,
Walking wise,
different.
they
I
don't
mean,
walk
and that's
African.
because where we were raised.
Yes.
Like where we were
True.
born. Like,
200 years ago, maybe you were African. But now you don't look African to me. I spotted you from the end of the aisle. That's Nickii Jean because she told me she's American. And I didn't see an African woman working from down the aisle. I was like, okay, yeah, that's Nickii Jean.
I agree
Yes,
with you 100%.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if we were to do the DNA test, I haven't.
How many times have we mentioned the DNA test
I
in this
know.
podcast?
I need to do it.
It's like
oh
5
my
times.
God.
We're really gonna do
I
it.
need to do it.
You could
Last-
find out, you know, if I would do a DNA test, you would find that I'm kind of gypsy, by the way. Maybe Armenian.
yeah, it's a
Yes,
thing. It's called
it-
Roman gypsy.
Yes. And
You didn't
that's
know that shit?
and
How
that,
is that
Roman
actually?
gypsy.
You know, I really wanted to ask you. Is actually being a gypsy? Is it actually some sort of an ethnicity?
yes, gypsy is ethnicity.
How is it an
like,
ethnicity? Is it some sort of a cultural thing.
No.
To be
Gypsy
a gypsy.
Gypsy is nomad,
rolling.
who are rolling in East
So
Europe.
that's Bedouin.
Came to the Middle East. Yes, nomads.
Okay, but Bedouin is not an ethnicity.
No, nomad. They are nomads. They are not the Middle Eastern nomad. Gypsies are different.
Okay.
Ahmed, you failed biology and geography and
I
history.
did not. No, really. Let's just be honest. If you're saying I'm a gypsy, it does not mean.
It doesn't mean the Arabic version of gypsy.
I know because
No,
if I did a
we
test,
have something. It's called the Nawar, and they are gypsies. They are gypsies, the same as the
but
gypsies.
originally they're Arabs.
No,
for example.
no, they spoke. They
They have their own
Arabic.
language.
They had their own the same gypsy language.
We
Just
need to
what is
bring
a
a
gypsy
gypsy on
language?
the show.
you have one.
Where?
A gypsy descent, maybe, because that's the stories I get from my family. Maybe you could get like I'm from the Gulf.
No, you're confusing.
DNA doesn't make any sense, guys, because Arab is not a race.
What
Just like African is not a race, it's a location. Arab is a language. If you speak Arabic, you know there is 12 races in the Middle East who are called the Arab world. 12 races,
Yeah.
12 different races.
Okay.
You could be from European descent, you could be from Indian descent or Punjab descent. And there is the Arab African. It's different than the other African, the Kenyan and the Nigerian.
Obviously,
Yes.
yeah. And there's a
And
difference.
by
also.
the way, Egyptians, Moroccans are more African
Then Arab.
than Arab.
Wait,
Yes.
but I really have a question. So,
Tell me.
Yes.
like, when you say, like, oh, she's African American, like, I'm just curious to what
I don't
label
see you.
do
No. I see you are American. I don't see African American. I see American only.
What
That's
does
the
that
thing.
mean?
But then
There is
what
a
does that
label
mean?
here.
Look,
Someone
okay.
labeled you.
Look,
Someone labeled, and
I-
people are taking the. You cannot take the label off sometimes.
I can relate to
Yeah.
that by just telling you.
Mm.
There was an author called Amin Malouf. He wrote something called Identity.
Okay.
He said that identity is actually multiple identities in one.
Yes.
And it starts with race, religion, culture, society, education, blah, blah, blah. It's categories. And you choose which
Wait.
one to prioritize based on the people you're communicating with.
Okay.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like if I went to Africa, for example, if I went to America, they'd be like, okay, where are you from? I'd be like, America.
Mhm.
And then if I sit with another group, they'd be like, what part? Like Arabs, I'd be like, I'm from North Sudan, which is Africa, like Afro-Arab. You know what I mean? And like this, if I'm sitting with Muslims, I'd probably be like, yeah, I'm Muslim. You know what I mean?
I'm Sunni or.
But see, no,
Yeah.
okay, you're saying, like,
So it's-
religious wise.
So basically, you cannot
You can't take it away.
you
can't
cannot
away
take the
one
multiple
category.
identities you got within one because we live in a global world.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's the world is mixing and shifting and like everyone said we're gonna be beige next thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're probably
Yes.
the last dark skin.
And
We're
some-
gonna take a picture with you because you never know. In a couple of 10 years, everybody's gonna be beige.
Yeah.
You never know.
Maybe,
Everybody's
maybe
Then what do you
the
think
Nickii Jean
Nickii
show,
like?
maybe. You have to take a picture by there.
On
But-
identity.
Yes.
What does Nickii think on identity?
Yes.
Who are you?
I think that I am African American,
Mm.
and based on where I was born and raised. Now, if I were to do a DNA test that you don't think exists, or,
Okay.
It exists,
I mean,
actually.
like, you
it
don't-
exists. But it wouldn't make any difference, you know? It wouldn't
but
make any difference.
I do think so. One, I was adopted when I was 6 months, so that's
Okay.
already like a blur
Mm-hmm.
in itself.
Okay.
So if I were to do that test, I would be able to really recognize, okay, this is exactly where I was from. I mean, if we really want to go back to like slavery and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, us
Yeah.
being pulled from, our different countries and taken someplace
Yes.
else. So I think that plays a huge role, and I just ended up in America. My family ended up where they ended
Where
up.
they are, yeah.
But because when I'm here, and even in America, everyone says, "Where are you from? Are you Ethiopian? Are you Sudanese?"
Right.
Like Eritrean,
Yes.
and I can't answer that. I
Because
only
you
can
don't
say
actually-
I'm
Would it-
African
would it-
American.
Yeah,
Because you
would
don't
it make
actually know.
any difference if you find
Yeah.
out that you are from
I would be
Nigeria
able
or
to
from...
say, yeah, actually,
My
I'm
roots are-
50% this, or my roots are,
Yeah.
I would be able to.
No. Do you think
clarify that.
it should change how we deal with you?
No,
No. We're
But-
just-
but
yeah.
It would be
People ask-
something interesting to share, you know,
Yeah, I
like a
mean,
story to share.
because
like-
people already assume, like, people
Mm-hmm.
can assume that you're from where you're at. And you can clarify that and say, yep, I am, but I really can't clarify. I can say I'm
You're from
African American.
Pasadena, you know.
I'm from Pasadena,
That's-
California. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, I can't clarify if I'm Ethiopian or Eritrean. You see something that I can't
That
clarify.
you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, because you're not Ethiopian.
Okay.
Yes, or you're not. Yeah. That's the thing I'm trying to communicate. Like, why there is a difference between American and African American. That's the thing. Yeah, it's a label. I think it's a label.
I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
I
I'm
do.
saying like
I
you.
do
To
get
me,
it.
you are American, And then when he says, Ahmed, like there is categories in identity, you communicate maybe with other Americans saying I'm African
They
American.
got
But
so used to saying it. Is that what you
yes,
mean?
I think
Okay.
it's a label. Like someone will tell me, Ahmed always say like I'm Palestinian, but I live in Qatar. Palestinian.
Okay,
live in
have
Qatar.
you ever been there?
To say that?
Have you ever been to Palestine?
No, never.
So then, how are you? Again, it's the same thing thrown right back at you. How are you?
He'd be
Palestinian?
different. He'd be a different Palestinian than the ones that live there.
Yes,
That's what I'm
Mental
trying to
wise,
say. So you're saying it's a
character-wise.
label, but then are you also labeling yourself by saying?
I'm
that
trying to get over the label because I don't like it. Like that's why in my Instagram I call myself the Palestinian guy.
Really?
Because
Okay.
people from Palestine sometimes they don't pick it up from my accent
Right.
or maybe on my lifestyle. Although that I dance Palestinian style like a god, like a phenomena. Okay, but
Right. Well.
but I think that sometimes you get lost in crowd because the
Yeah.
other day I met some from people from Palestine and they were like, oh, Ahmed, like this. And I'm like, they were surprised how much I know about Palestine. I was correcting them. I was like history, culture. And they was like, wow, Ahmed, you have done a lot of research. Where did you get it? I'm like, I'm from Palestine, guys.
Well, thank you for these deep notes.
Oh.
I'd love you to carry it
Yeah.
on. But I think we're going to have to wrap it up. What do you...
Yeah.
Thank you for being a part of us today.
No problem.
Really. You know, listen, it doesn't matter. You know, I'm sure you agree. It doesn't matter where you're from, what your
Yeah.
color is. You know, if you want to model, you can model. You got a
Yeah.
message you want to tell these young models? You want to
I mean, don't give up and don't let anyone tell you who you are. You need to know who you are to be able to say, I'm not who you
I'm not
you know,
who you
I'm
think
not,
I
yeah.
am or who you
Do
assume
not
me to
give
be.
up.
Right.
It's
But
your
I
story.
have some question before. If someone wants to start a modeling career,
What did they do?
what do they do? Yeah.
Take pictures.
Take a lot of pictures.
Get comfortable on camera. Build a portfolio until the portfolio is set. You need 12 different images that represent 12 different genres.
Mhm.
You need to be
And
able to be
and
diverse.
we know we have to contact Shahad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big shout out
like,
to Chad.
make
She's
All right.
behind the camera
Big
today.
Big shout out, sir.
our own talent booker for Heart Doha Podcast, guys.
Big shout out to her. She's joining us the first time in the studio, actually.
Yes.
Thank you for being a part of us today.
No
I
problem.
just want to say that we're going to be with you next week. Big shout out to Elizabeth.
Thank you.
And also inspiring me for this
She
amazing space.
She looks curious.
I just want to say one thing.
Tell me.
Speaking about vaginal cancer, I will be speaking at the Wellness Conference at Diva Lounge on the 28th. So if
Diva
anyone's-
Lounge here across the street.
At the Gate Mall.
Okay.
All right.
So if anyone's interested in just coming,
Diva
check
Lounge,
it out.
October 28th.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
for
since
having
you said that, I'm going to be speaking at TEDx on the 3rd of November on this exact topic, guys, what you've just been talking about. I was waiting for it to unfold to be like, how is it related? So I'll be talking about identity phenomena.
Wow.
So 3rd of September. 3rd
Give
of
me
November.
a shout out in TEDx QU.
Yeah, inshallah.
Yeah.
So
Just say
this has
Ahmed, they
been
know me.
amazing material for me to actually build my speech, hearing from all of you guys today. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Take care.
All right,
This is
bye.
Heart Doha signing up.
Amazing,
Bye.
inshallah.